I'm Stacey, and I thought I knew the people closest to me. Welcome to Narrative Strokes. Today, I'm telling you a story of love, friendship, and the one truth I never saw coming. We met in high school, back when life felt simpler, yet somehow, every little moment felt important. Joey, David, and I were in science class together. Joey and David had been best friends since kindergarten, inseparable, like two sides of the same coin. Yet they couldn't have been more different. Joey had a magnetic personality, an easygoing, cheerful guy who could find humor in the dullest moments. His laughter was infectious, filling even the most boring classes with life. I remember one day in chemistry when our teacher, Mr. Anderson, turned his back to the class. Joey, with his mischievous grin, quietly switched the labels on 2 beakers. When the teacher mixed them and the solution bubbled over unexpectedly, Joey stifled his laughter behind his hand, while the whole class gasped. That was Joey, a troublemaker, but never in a mean way, always just for fun. David, on the other hand, was different. He was meticulous, a stickler for rules, and always serious. When Joey joked his way through life, David lived by structure. He would spend hours solving complex equations, always aiming for perfection. I recall a time when we had a group project. Joey and I threw together a half-baked volcano experiment. And David, unable to accept anything less than perfect, stayed up all night perfecting the reaction. The next day, the model erupted flawlessly, spewing a controlled stream of lava-like foam. "I couldn't let us fail," he had said with a proud but exhausted smile. But despite their differences, they were fiercely loyal to each other, and somehow, I became a part of their circle. It was a rainy afternoon when I first truly bonded with them. I had slipped in the muddy schoolyard, falling face first into a puddle. Laughter erupted around me. Embarrassment burned my cheeks, but before I could run away, Joey appeared, extending his hand. "Welcome to the exclusive club of puddle divers," he said with a wink. David, ever the serious one, handed me a clean napkin from his lunchbox. "You should be more careful, Stacey," he said, frowning. The ground was obviously wet. I rolled my eyes at his lecture, but Joey's easy laughter made me smile. From that moment on, we were a trio. As we grew older, I couldn't help but adore Joey more and more each day. I grew up in a household without a dad, a single mom struggling to feed me and my little sister. Life was tough, and joy was scarce. I often struggled with anxiety and insecurity. But Joey always found a way to bring light into my world. He would surprise me with small, thoughtful gestures. A note in my locker with a terrible pun, a stolen chocolate bar from the cafeteria when he knew I had no money to buy lunch, an impromptu dance in the middle of the hallway to cheer me up after a tough day. And David, he was always there too. He helped me with my homework when my mom was too exhausted to explain things. He fixed my broken watch when I thought it was beyond repair. He was my best friend. By the time we were in our 20s, I had started imagining my future with Joey. I wanted to spend my life with him, share all my joys and sorrows, build a family together. I wasn't sure how Joey felt about me, though. Did he ever think we were more than friends? Did he ever see it in my eyes? We shared everything with each other, but I couldn't bring myself to tell him how I truly felt about him. I was scared that if he didn't feel the same way, then it would be very awkward and I might lose his friendship as well. And I definitely didn't want that. One summer evening, Joey invited me for a walk by the lake. The air was cool, the water shimmering under the moonlight. We laughed about old memories, about David's strict study schedules and Joey's constant detentions. We sat on a bench overlooking the water, watching the tiny ripples in the moonlight. Joey nudged me with a grin. "You remember the time I tried to cook you dinner and nearly set the fire alarm off?" I laughed. "Tried? You mean failed. We ended up eating cereal." He chuckled. "Still the best cereal date I ever had." Then his expression softened, and he took a deep breath. "Stacey," he said, rubbing the back of his neck. "You ever think about the future?" I smiled. "All the time. Why?" He exhaled, his hands fidgeting. "Because I've been thinking about mine. And every single version of it has you in it." My heart skipped a beat. "Joey." He pulled a small box from his pocket and opened it, revealing a simple but elegant ring. "I don't have some grand speech, and I know I'm not the perfect guy, but I love you, Stacey. I've loved you for as long as I can remember. Will you marry me?" Tears welled up in my eyes. "Yes, yes, 1,000 times, yes!" I threw my arms around him as laughter and joy bubbled within me. I was on cloud 9. Joey proposed to me. He loved me just as much as I loved him. He dreamed the same dreams as I did. This was all true. My happiness knew no bounds. But that night, after Joey walked me home, I sat on my bed, staring at the ring. I was happy, so happy. But underneath that joy was something else. A quiet voice I thought I'd silenced a long time ago. "Do you really deserve this? What if you ruin everything?" I'd grown up believing I had to fight for every scrap of love. Joey made me feel seen, safe. But sometimes, it felt like I was just borrowing that love. I told myself it was just nerves. Everyone feels anxious before big life changes, right? As our wedding date approached, David became distant. He, who had always been the first to support us, now barely showed up. He was supposed to be Joey's best man, but he didn't help with any preparations. I assumed he was just busy, but deep down I was worried. David had never been so distant. I tried calling him, but he always had some excuse. I tried to throw myself into wedding prep, but sometimes I caught my reflection and barely recognized the girl in the mirror, smiling on the outside, spiraling quietly on the inside. I didn't tell Joey. I didn't want him to worry. But there were nights I lay awake wondering if I was enough, if I could be the kind of wife he deserved. Even Amy, my sister, pulled me aside one day. "You okay?" she asked, handing me a coffee. "You've just seemed a little off lately." I smiled and waved her off. "Just wedding stress, nothing I can't handle." She nodded but didn't look convinced. Joey noticed too once. He cupped my face, worry in his eyes. "If you're overwhelmed, we can slow things down, okay?" I hugged him tightly. "No, I want this. I'm just tired, that's all." I thought I was holding it together. I didn't realize how visible the cracks had become. Then, one evening, the doorbell rang. It was David. "Hey, David. Haven't seen you in a while. How have you been?" I asked, stepping aside to let him in. He hesitated, his face tense. Okay, I guess. Do you have a minute? Of course, I said, gesturing for him to sit. Stacey, I'm not sure how to say this. I've been trying so hard. But I'll get to the point. What's wrong? He didn't immediately answer. His eyes were closed and face expressionless. You and Joey are my best friends. I want us all to be happy, but I'm not. I'm not happy, he whispered. My stomach twisted. David, what are you talking about? He clenched his fists. I love you, Stacey. Can't you see it? So many years, but you never... I could see the pain in his eyes. David, you are my friend. My best friend. But I love Joey. Ever since we met in high school. David stood there, his expression a mix of sadness and anger. And then he shouted, Why not me? I'll give you everything you ever wanted. Nobody will ever love you as much as I do. David, I came here to give you a choice, Stacey. It's me or nothing. I frowned. His sentence didn't make any sense. What do you mean? I mean, this ends today. I cannot take this anymore. His eyes darkened. He looked determined now, ready to tackle the situation. But there was a strange, fierce look on his face that I had never seen before. He was making me very nervous. I wanted to call Joey so we could both talk to him, but my legs wouldn't move. Here was my friend, my best friend, struggling with deep emotions he had never let through before. I was lost at how I could help him get over it. Your relationship with Joey ends today. And if you can't do that, you end today. His words snapped me back to reality. What had he just said? I end today? Before I could make any sense of that, David reached into his pocket and my heart stopped. A knife. David, no! He grabbed my wrist. I struggled, kicked, screamed, but he was too strong. Then, pain shot through me as he slashed my wrist. My blood spilled onto the carpet, and a ringing filled my ears. My vision started to blur, and I collapsed to the floor. I wanted to scream, but my voice was stuck in my throat. This was it. These were my final moments. The life that I dreamed of was gone in an instant. What would happen of Joey when he would find what his best friend had done to his fiancée? I did not want to leave. Maybe my body was limp, but my soul would stick around. David cannot destroy my soul. That will live forever with Joey. My eyes were closed now, but I could see. I could see David crying, and I could see him putting a note beside me, wiping the knife and pressing it in my limp hand. The night passed, my body lay there in a pool of blood. Morning came, and Joey found me. His screams filled the air as he dropped beside my lifeless body. His hands trembled as he picked up the note. Dear Joey, you are my best friend, and I love you. But I cannot marry you. I have been struggling with overwhelming anxiety and doubts. I fear I won't be the wife you deserve, and I don't want to hold you back from a better future. I can't go through with this. With me around, you might never find the true love of your life, the girl you really deserve. Forgive me. Tears streamed down Joey's face. I was cheated, and I would never get justice. This wasn't a suicide. But David had everyone believe that it was. He had stolen everything from me. My life, my love, my future. But my soul remains. I watch over Joey unseen. I scream the truth, but no one hears. I am trapped, forever wondering what life would have been like if things had been different, if my best friend hadn't killed me. Thank you for listening to today's story. If you enjoyed it, then comment down below and let me know what you think. I'll see you next time with another story. Until then, keep smiling and don't forget to like and subscribe.